All right, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to be looking at our phonics book, and if you could have your phonics book pages 183 and 184 available. 183 and 184. We've been talking about the cowboy, the American cowboy, and the life he lives. Remember, the cowboy was used to take care of the cattle, to herd them or to drive them to places where they would have plenty to eat, and eventually to take them into towns where there were railroads, to put them on railroad cars where they were taken to big cities such as Chicago, where there were meat packing companies where unfortunately they would kill the cattle and make packages of meat, different kinds of packaging for the rest of the country so that they would have fresh meat. That was the whole purpose, just like a shepherd takes care of the lamb for the wool and also for the food. We still have cowboys today because we still eat plenty of beef. Your hamburgers, your steaks, your picadillo all come from meat, and this meat is from the cows, the type of cattle that are used, that are grown and taken care of so that they can become food on your table. And the cowboys, remember, rode horses, and they had special kind of clothing to protect them from the wind and the rain, and also from being in the saddle for many, many hours during the day as they rode the range, so to speak. The range, of course, is the open plains where the cattle are eating and grazing or eating the grass. The cowboy had to find food for them and water so that he would be able to deliver healthy cattle to these railroad stations so they could be shipped off and turned into your hamburger and so forth. Now, the cowboy's horse was very, very important to him, and I'm going to read a little bit about the cowboy's horse. The cowboy was able to handle a horse with great efficiency. He knew that his horse was his only means of transportation, and he had to take care of it. He could not overwork the horse. Maybe he could sit in a saddle for 12 hours, but that horse had to be able to be rested enough so that in case those cattle stampeded. Now, what is a stampede? A stampede is the cattle are very fearful. Loud noises can start them running, and they don't know where to go. They run to get away from harm. So if a cowboy, or you get a bunch of cowboys shooting off their rifles or their pistols, that will frighten the cattle, and they will just run, and they'll stampede or they'll run over anything that's in their path. It could be a wagon, it could be people that are sitting there at a fire place cooking their evening meal. Those horses had to be well trained so that they could help in swerving the cattle away from harm and getting them to calm down. Now, the cowboy really owned his own horse because he had a group of horses assigned to him by the ranch owner, and he always used his best horse for night work. A cowboy had to break wild horses. And what do we mean by wild horses? Either the horse was born on the ranch, or they also ran in herds free on the open range, and they were caught by cowboys, and they were brought back to the ranch, and they had to be, quote, broken. It means they had never had anybody on their backs. They didn't know what a saddle was, and a horse would buck when a cowboy got on his back. Buck means he would shoot his front legs and his back legs in the air because he wanted to get that rider off of him. And the cowboy had to stay on until the horse was able to say, hey, I'm not being hurt, everything is okay, and the horse calmed down. And it didn't happen only once. You had to do this a number of times in order to get the horse accustomed to having someone on his back. And then he was trained on how to use the reins of the horse, that were put in his mouth so that the cowboy could control whether to go to the right or to the left. It was quite a big thing. And a horse was, as I said, was very important. Today, ranchers and cowboys use horses, and they also use the jeeps or some kind of special riders, ATVs or something, to keep the cattle, because we still have to have those cattle riding the range and eating and grazing, and it is still a very important occupation into raising beef cattle for our table. Okay, so now today we're going to again look at the bossy R. Remember, if the vowel comes before the R, like this is the consonant before the R, it could either be a long or short vowel, but if it comes after the R, like the or the or sound, notice it changes. Or. All right, just to review again, this is bossy R. When it is after the vowel, this is the vowel, it changes the sound. For example, the word car and the word star, par, arc, bark. If we put a T here, we still have the same sound of the R in cart, start, part, R. It almost sounds as if there's no vowel sound at all. Then we have the or sound, for, more, sore. We even have snore, torn, born, worn. These are the or sounds, okay? So this is review, and what I would like you to do is listen for the words that I say and tell me which one has the R or the or sound. Okay, so what you could do is, I can't see you, but I will see if you agree with me. All right, the first word is artist. How many of you heard the R sound? Good. Wrench. How many of you heard the R sound? Good. There is no R sound, there's a R sound, and that's because the consonant comes before the A. Ranch. Ranch is not the R sound. Okay, what about the word boots? Did you hear the R or the or sound in boots? No, you didn't. What about shark? Did you hear the R sound? Bossy R, vowel, bossy R. Yes, you did. What about the word store? Did you hear the bossy R come after the vowel? Right, it did. Tornado. That's a long word, 3 syllables. Yes, you did hear the bossy R in torn. Okay. Horse. Bossy R. Certainly it is, bossy R. And the last word is horn. Bossy R, vowel plus the R. Okay, now, when you go through your phonics, I'll give you a few minutes and let's go over the directions. It's called a cowboy's horse. What we're doing is we have 2 sections here on page 183 where we have to connect with a line the compound word. 2 words joined together and no spelling is lost. Every word is spelled the way it should be. The first one is done for you. Every goes with one. Every one. Then you are to go to the next word, which is next, pop, sand, and cup, and connect it with a line to the next column that will make it a compound word. And look at next door. The first one is barn, tree, sun, male, hand. You draw a line to the second column, which will make it a compound word. Top, light, yard, cuff, and box. Okay, and the bottom one, this is something very similar to what we did on a Spanish test. You have the word in the first saddle, and then you look at the numbers, the numbered words in the second saddle, and you try to find out which of those 4 words means the same thing as the word start. Put that letter next to the word start. Look at the word tour, and now look at the 4 letters, 4 numbers rather, and you will see which word means the same as tour. The next word is grin. Again, the number of the word that means the same thing as a grin. And the last one is a jar. Now, on the bottom, you are to write a sentence about horses. Anything you want. Maybe you'd like to own a horse. Maybe you would give your horse a name. Anything you want. All right, and then on the next page, you have words in a box, and you are to put them in the sentence that the word belongs. The word is busy, obey, gone, and quiet. On the bottom, the words are very, America, watch, and another. And that is your phonics pages to review your compound words, your definitions or synonyms, and the bossy R sound in or and R.